The Young and the Restless Spoilers Thurdays Full the 16th of July, 2026. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is a wildly rainy Tuesday here, which honestly matches the mood of today's update perfectly. Grab a massive cup of coffee, or maybe something stronger, because we have a lot to unpack. Let's just dive right into the absolute mess that is Genoa City right now. So let's talk about Victor Newman. Honestly, I am so tired of this man. I really am. But we have to talk about him because what he is doing right now is just beyond the pale. Even for him. And we have seen him do some truly despicable things over the years. But this current storyline, it is just exhausting. Last week, or maybe a few episodes ago, it all blurs together at this point, we saw him literally drug his wife. He used Nikki's terrifying, blinding headaches against her to steal her company shares. And now he has the absolute audacity to accuse her of betrayal. I mean, what were the writers thinking with this one? Who actually believes this is going to end well for anyone involved? Let's set the scene properly. We had Nikki and Victoria hanging out at Crimson Lights, just trying to have a normal cup of coffee in a town where normal does not exist. And then Kyle Abbott marches in and drops a massive bomb. He just flat out tells them that Victor is the one responsible for Patty Williams nearly killing Jack and Diane. And you guys, Nikki's face, she just looked so defeated. She didn't even look shocked, which is honestly the saddest part of the whole thing. She just assumes this is another one of Victor's insane schemes. She is sitting there, probably still dealing with those awful headaches, and she has to process the fact that her husband is a monster. Again, she has to wonder if there is even a shred of hope left for him. But then Victor finds out she is doubting him, and he turns it around on her. He actually accuses Nikki of betrayal. The hypocrisy is just staggering. It really is staggering. He is liquidating her assets right under her nose while she is heavily sedated, but she is the traitor? Okay, that sounded dramatic. Maybe a little too dramatic, but you get what I mean. It is classic Victor deflection. He gets caught doing something horrific like teaming up with a literal psychopath to torture the Abbotts, and instead of taking accountability, he points the finger at his sick wife. I just can't with him today. I really can't. Sometimes I think maybe I'm being too harsh on Victor. He does love his family in his own twisted, toxic way. But no, this is just pure evil. Victoria is already highly suspicious of him, and she should be. She sees him looting her mother's estate before Nikki has even passed away. It is sick. Moving on to the Abbotts. And wow. Just wow. Jack is finally getting discharged from the hospital and they are going home. Jack and Diane are heading back to the Abbott mansion. But let's be real here, going back to that big empty house is not going to magically fix what they just went through. The trauma from Patty's attack is still lingering, and honestly, it absolutely should be. How do you just bounce back from that? You don't. You just don't. Think about what Diane has been through over the last few weeks. She was missing for weeks. Kidnapped. She was locked in a padded cell with barred windows by Dr. Markham, a corrupt, creepy doctor who was gaslighting her into thinking she had a severe mental breakdown. She woke up in a strange room with no idea how she got there, arming herself with a letter opener just to survive. That kind of psychological torture doesn't just wash off in the shower. It stays with you. It rewires your brain. And Jack had to look at a staged photo of his wife in a padded cell while Patty Williams, the woman who has tormented his family for literal decades, demanded he sleep with her to get Diane back. She literally tried to blackmail him for sex. She wanted to recreate their yacht magic. Gross. Just so gross. So now they are home. The physical danger might be over, but the emotional scars are wide open and bleeding. I can just picture Diane jumping at every single shadow in that mansion. Every time the doorbell rings, she is probably going to think it is Patty or Markham coming back to drag her into the dark. And Jack is going to be hovering. He is going to be so overprotective, which is sweet, but also probably really suffocating for Diane. He feels guilty. He always feels guilty when it comes to Patty because of their twisted history. But he needs to realize this isn't his fault. Patty is just unhinged. Completely, violently unhinged. I hope the writers actually explore this trauma and don't just gloss over it. The fans on social media are already saying they want to see Diane get some therapy. Real therapy, not the doctor. Markham kind. But knowing this show, they will probably just have them drink a lot of scotch in the living room and pretend it never happened. And we cannot talk about this without mentioning Tracy Abbott. Tracy is the real MVP of this entire storyline. She literally pulled Patty's hair in the park to get the truth out of her. Tracy, the sweetest woman in Genoa City, had to resort to violence because Patty is just that awful? Tracy used the threat of the mental facility to break Patty down. It was brilliant, but it also shows how far the Abbotts have been pushed. But the absolute most infuriating part of all of this, the part that actually made me yell at my screen, Kyle Abbott. What in the world is Kyle doing? The spoilers for Wednesday show Kyle making a dangerous deal with Patty. Yes, you heard me right. Patty Williams. The woman who just kidnapped his mother, locked her in a cell and tried to extort his father. And let's not forget, she also just kidnapped Ashley's daughter Abby and baby Dominic. She is a menace. And Kyle thinks he can negotiate with her? What is actually going through his brain? Kyle wants revenge on Victor. He is so blinded by his hatred for Victor Newman that he is willing to get in bed, metaphorically speaking, thank God, with the devil. He goes to Patty to strike a deal. Patty is cornered right now. She knows she is facing a long time in prison, or worse, a permanent trip back to the mental asylum. So she is desperate. And a desperate Patty is a dangerous Patty. She is aiming for a deal that can get her out of this mess, or at least cause maximum chaos on her way down. And Kyle is just handing her the keys to the kingdom. He thinks he can outsmart her. He thinks he can use her to get back at Victor. But Kyle is so far out of his league, it is actually embarrassing. He is playing checkers, while Patty is playing some twisted, violent version of 3D chess. If this deal goes through, the consequences are going to be devastating. And it will be entirely Kyle's fault. Why can't he just let karma do its job? Victor always gets his eventually. Well, almost always. But Kyle getting involved is just going to blow up in his face. I can already see it. Patty is going to double-cross him. She has way more experience in these shady back alley deals than Kyle ever will. And think about Ashley. Ashley was forced to come back from Paris, and the second she did, Patty and Markham snatched Abby and Dominic. Ashley is going feral right now. She is completely unhinged and out for blood. If Kyle's little side deal with Patty puts Abby or Dominic in even more danger, Ashley is going to destroy him. She will literally tear him apart. Kyle used to be the smart one, didn't he? Or maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe he was always this impulsive and reckless. But seriously, someone needs to lock Kyle in a room until he comes to his senses before he gets someone killed. And finally, let's talk about Sally Spectra. My heart just breaks for her. It really, really does. Sally is in full defensive mode right now. She overheard some alarming information that threatens her business. And honestly, she has every right to be paranoid and defensive. She needs to protect her business, because it is literally all she has left in this world. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger pattern here with Sally. She has lost absolutely everything. She lost her baby Ava with Adam, a loss she still deeply blames herself for. And then, just a few months ago, she was in that horrific car crash in the blinding rain. Billy and Jill were questioning her pregnancy, making her feel like garbage, and she fled. She crashed her car And she miscarried again. She lost another baby because of the toxic, endless drama in this town. She is completely broken. Her personal life is a disaster zone of grief and betrayal. The only thing she has left, the only thing keeping her tethered to reality and giving her a reason to wake up in the morning, is her business. So, of course, she is going to fight like hell to protect it. She overhears this confidential info, probably something tied to Victor's endless corporate scams, and she immediately goes on the attack. She is terrified that Victor's schemes are going to cost her the last thing she cares about. We all know Victor doesn't care who becomes collateral damage in his wars. He would crush Sally's business like a bug if it served his agenda. But Sally is a survivor. She always has been. She is fighting for her life here. I just hope she doesn't do anything reckless. When Sally gets backed into a corner, she tends to make impulsive decisions. She only really has Audra in her corner right now, which is a whole other complicated mess. But right now, I am rooting for her. I am rooting for her to take this alarming information and use it to bulletproof her company. She deserves a win. After the car crash, after the miscarriage, after Billy's betrayal, she just needs one solid win. Will the writers give it to her? Probably not without dragging her through the mud first. That's just how this show works. They love to torture Sally. But maybe, just maybe, she can outsmart them this time. We will just have to watch and see what happens tomorrow. Let's hope it's not a complete disaster, but who are we kidding? It's Genoa City. It's always a disaster.